Hello, this is Rix. Today I'm going to be sharing with you Serve and Return Interactions, which is based on Harvard University's Center on the Developing Child. I'll be sharing with you some activities or things that you can do ordinarily with your children, whether you are at home, at school, or whenever when you are even playing with your children at the park. And the concept behind Serve and Return Interaction is very simple. It just simply means that whenever your child gives you the signal that they want to tell you something or communicate with you, then you would have to be responsive to these signals. But you've got to have to remember that these signals are not limited to words or phrases or even a long sentence. These signals could be just, say, bubbling, crying, or gestures. And when we respond to these signals appropriately, we can help our children develop their brain and eventually help them develop their communication and social skills. Later on, when you see the video that I took a while ago with my niece, you would see how I made these responses with her stable, reliable, and appropriate. When we say appropriate, it's based on the repertoire of skills that the child already has. In other words, we cannot possibly ask a child to respond to us in complete sentences if they can only just say point to something to communicate or even just bubble or utter words which are incorrigible. Your interactions with them become reliable whenever your children find them pleasant or repetitive or say reinforcing. For example, in the past, when your child looked at you and you responded immediately by looking at him or her or even praising or giving a hug, then the child would associate eye contact with that kind of pleasant emotions, that whenever in the future he would want to have the same feelings of being hugged or responded to, then the child would likely engage in the behavior of looking at you or making eye contact with you, for he or she knows that that would give him or her access to that kind of emotions that he or she wants. All right, now let's go to serve and return interaction. The first thing you have to do is to notice and share your child's focus or attention. If you're observing your child and you see that the child is pointing at something or making a facial expression towards something or making a sound, then that is serve. And the key here is you have to share your child's attention with you. I know you cannot do this the whole day, but you can find little opportunities with your children. Let's say when you're dressing them or feeding them. As you do those normal activities, your children would perhaps start looking at something or smiling at something and share that focus with them or with her. And this is very important because that's the way for you to be able to understand your children's ability and interests. And when you do that, that would actually strengthen the bond between you and your child. It is spring. But is it? Let me see if it. Oh no, that's not it. Let's look it up. How about that? Is that it?
Yes.
Yes. Can you put it there?
Yes.
Yay! What is the girl doing? So next is you would have to return to serve by encouraging or supporting your child. It could just be like praise, saying like thank you or I see or wonderful or just any praise or even just changing the tone or the pitch of your voice. It's already appetitive for them. So if you will notice in the next segment of the video where I was trying to teach the child about the rhythm sticks as we were trying to learn about music, thunderstorms and raindrops. And when we were playing with the rhythm sticks, she said loud and she wanted to make it louder. So I encouraged her by saying, oh, loud. So I make my voice a bit higher. And to her, it was already something good, a support, acknowledging what she wants. And it gave her more confidence in playing with the rhythm sticks. And you noticed that there was a delight and joy in her face. Would you like to have the sticks?
Look at this.
Okay, you can have one, two, and this one. Ooh, listen to that. This is these are,
Loud.
yes, loud. So loud. You've got to name it. Even before they can utter words or sentences, it's really important that we can help them understand the connection between what they see around them and what's happening inside their brain. And you will see that in the video that I will be showing you in a bit. the child was trying to say something about what she saw in the book. At the beginning, it was a little bit difficult for me to understand what it was, but because I shared and noticed what she noticed, and I knew that it was the kite, so I said kite, and you notice how she responded. She was very happy about it, and it helped her understand the world around her. And if you do that, I think your child would also feel, say, acknowledged and feel better that she understands or he understands what's going on around him or her.
Look at this
Oh,
girl.
what's that? What is the girl doing?
That's a kite.
Oh, yes, it's flying a kite. Fourth, take turns. But what's crucial here is you need to pause and let your children take all the time that he or she needs before you respond or keep on interacting with him or her. This is very crucial, not just because we know that children need a lot of time to process what they're doing or learning around them, but because this helps them develop self-inhibitory skills or what we call self-control. And by doing this, you can also understand what your child really needs or wants. So you would see in the next segment that I was holding the stick, and I knew that she would want to have that stick to stick it on the pop out puppet, but I waited for her to say that before I gave it to her, so that I would give her an opportunity to manipulate what she was holding in. And when she said like sticks, and I gave the sticks, so we have to wait, pause before you interact. What's this?
Yes, sticky.
Yes, very sticky. Ah, no. Would you like to put it yourself?
Yes.
Very good. Oops. Careful, it's on our carpet. Very good.
Hey, let's get the sticks. Sticks.
You want the stick? Here
Yeah.
you are.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Ah, perfect.
Perfect.
Look at that, dude.
Look, that's a girl swimming. Last, practice endings and beginnings. You cannot just keep on doing the same activity over and over again for a long period of time, because your children's attention span is not yet as complex or developed as yours as adults. So normally I always say divide my classes or activities in blocks, like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. I have to change one activity to another, and your children give you the signals to do this. So if you notice in the next video, I was trying to ask them questions about the previous part of the story, but that child said something about the character, the name of the character. And for me, that was already a good signal that I would start giving a story about the character herself. So I tried to open the book and started with the story immediately. In that way, I can have more serve and return opportunities. What's that? What's it?
Swimming.
Yes, the girl is swimming.
Look,
Now let's.
look, this little goes up in the sky.
Yes, there's a kite.
It's here.
Her name is Cassie.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
I
Oh,
just
let's.
go to school.
You just went to school. All right. Let's sing a song.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, let's have a story then. Okay, look. This is Tam. What's her name?
Down.
Tam. What's her name, Cassie?
Down.
Yes. So that was it. 5 steps to practice, return, and serve interaction. Remember, you can do this ordinarily at home. So, for example, you find it quite challenging to ask your child to brush his teeth. Maybe when you're on your way to the toilet, to the bathroom, you know, you'd notice that your child would be looking at something or focusing on something. Notice it and say, for example, he's looking at his toy and say like, oh yeah, that's your toy. That's already naming. That's already encouraging, because you encourage or acknowledge that he wants to have that toy. And then you can take turn by saying, all right, let's have your toy. Would you like me to play with your toy? And start playing with it. Give it to him and he plays. And maybe you can start, and when he starts looking at something else towards the toilet, then you can change the focus until you reach the toilet. It may take a little bit of time to do it, but remember, it takes a lot of compassion to be able to do this. And I know you have that because you love your children, and I think you can do this.